Good afternoon, viewers and listeners. Another fascinating afternoon with Nik Hayes from Golfbreaks. The British Business Podcast Series is delighted to have a conversation with Nik this afternoon. And I'll go straight into it, Nik. What is it you do?
Thanks, Michael. Yeah, so I work for Golfbreaks, who are the world's leading golf tour operator. We've been running for 25 years. This year is our 25th anniversary, which we're very proud to reach. I've been with the company for 17 years.
Wow.
They literally cannot get rid of me. So, I'm very proud to be working for a company like Golfbreaks for such a long tenure. The business was started in 1998 by a gentleman called Andrew Stanley, who is still the CEO today. It was started out of his bedroom, where he essentially arranged golf events, golf trips, Ryder Cup style format trips for local clubs in his area, where they would be hosted by Andrew to go out and run this Ryder Cup style event for a group of golfers from one golf club against a group of golfers from another golf club. And he had great success. They were thoroughly enjoyed, but he did realize that it wasn't very easy to scale him using every single weekend to go away with a group and use all of his time and energy on that. So he developed the idea of an online golf travel business, which back in 97, 98, there weren't too many of them around. It was not the very onset of the internet, but it was still certainly from a wider public point of view at the time where more people were just adopting the use of the World Wide Web, as we used to call it back then, for everything that they wanted to do, what they wanted to find out about. So golfbreaks.com, and what it was called at the time there, was formed with a cluster of UK resorts. A few well-known names in the golf venue industry, who Andrew approached to get some rates, some availability that he could sell online through his website. So fast forward 25 years and a lot of ups and downs. We're very proud as a business now to be a worldwide company. We've got offices in our main office or head office is in Windsor in the UK. We've got an office in Copenhagen in Denmark. And we've also got an office in the US in Charleston. In total, there's 180 employees. And this year, as a business, and like I say, in our 25th year, we're just about to tip over the £100 million in revenue
Wow.
and over 250,000 golfers traveling with Golfbreaks to over 2,000 destinations around the world.
So the 250,000 golfers over a period of time.
So they will travel, so they are booked to travel with Golfbreaks in the year 2023.
So 250,000 in a year?
Correct, yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
I should have come prepared with the amount of golfers that we've booked over 25 years.
That's
but
incredible.
Yeah, so it's been fantastic. I've been there for 17 years, so I've seen the company evolve. We were originally based in Chiswick in West London, and to see how, in terms of systems, service offering, personnel, adoption of various different promotional channels and platforms down the years, the company, like many other companies who have been around for such a long time, have gone through a really, really enjoyable and a great journey. Because we're in travel, we certainly have been impacted by things in a seismic way. I think two standout events would have been, if you remember this, the ash cloud.
Yeah.
Can't remember the year actually. I think it was maybe 2009, 2010,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit later.
Yeah.
Things like that as a travel business had a seismic impact on what we do, what we offer, and we came through that. We still managed to grow as a business in that year, and then of course, impacted everybody. We've just come through the other side of it, thankfully, the pandemic in 2020, 2021, and as a business, we've grown year on year every year, apart from those 2 years for obvious reasons in the pandemic. And as far as my role in the business, I'm very proud to be a contributor to the success of the business in some small way. My if I go in to talk about my specific role or my journey through Golfbreaks, I started off. At university, I did a sports management and golf course down at Bournemouth Uni. So I am originally from the northeast. You can probably tell from the twang, and I made the decision to follow what I enjoyed rather than go into a degree or a business where I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. And at the age that I am now, when the universities were starting to branch out with courses which were a little bit more niche rather than some of the more traditional topics that you could go and study at a university. So I did a sports management and golf degree because I loved golf, and we had to do a placement year, 1 year. So in the third year, it was a placement year, and I reached out to Golfbreaks because at the time, so this is showing my age now, 2004, 2003 would have been when I reached out to them. And I read it in the back of a golf magazine that they were advertising for placement students, and took a punt, and thankfully got through the interview. And I'll always remember, because at the time I was going through the yellow pages in the northeast selling Sage accountancy software to small to medium sized businesses, which was a tough sell. I think, if anyone's ever done that before, you get a lot of no's before you get a yes. And going into the environment and what at the time was a much smaller office than what we have today, and immediately being struck by the culture, the welcoming nature of not only the owners of the business but the staff there who was very keen to make anybody, any placement student, any interviewee who came into the office feel very welcome. I was immediately just struck by how different it was to a lot, because the previous job that I was in, that went into a lot of businesses, and I just never felt a warmth like it. And then very quickly, when I got an understanding of the job from a sales perspective, it was okay. So inquiries are going to come to me about people who like golf and want to go on golf holidays around nice destinations in the UK and further afield. And I just need to consult with them on whether I think their plans is a good idea right for them after going through a very informal needs analysis about what they want out of their golf trip. So immediately the light bulb moment was, this is the perfect job for me.
And were you a golfer?
I was, yes.
Okay.
I was a relatively good golfer. Played a lot of golf, misspent youth.
What was your handicap?
So I got down to 3. So I was 3 at the time. Now with 2 kids and a lot of other responsibilities, it's only going one way, unfortunately. But so golf was a big passion, and that combination of just being able to do what I enjoy and sell what I enjoy was a real turn on for me from a career perspective. And that was back in 2004, so I had a very successful placement, and then I was asked back by the owners of the business to start in a full-time position. So in terms of my contribution, I worked on at the time the UK sales force, so selling UK golf destinations, venues, tours, some favourites out there like the likes of the Belfry, the Celtic Manor, to great tour destinations. Northwest of England springs to mind with all the open courses and open qualifier courses. There's an appetite and there's a desire for many golfers up and down the UK to experience the golf courses. And one of the great things about golf is, which is necessary, that runs true across a lot of sports, is you can actually go and play on the stadiums, on the historical landscapes of what's happened in great golf sporting events down the years. You can try and repeat the shots that your favorite golfers have done. Very many of these golf courses have got plaques where I'm thinking of the Grove here, for example, where Tiger Woods absolutely blew the field out of the water, and there's plaques there where he's eagled a particular hole, I think 3 days in a row or 4 days in a row, par 5. And as a golfer, you can do that. You can go and play these golf courses and relive these moments. So back in 2006 through to 2010, it was my role, it was my job to onboard these customers into these types of venues and destinations, and sell a number of new and existing golf travel experiences that we had.
Take me through a customer who may contact you, party size, what they're after, how you manage it, all the way through from start to finish when they call you, and they might have an idea as to what they want. What would that entail?
Yeah, so I mean, one of the core objectives of Golfbreaks as a business is to be able to provide the perfect golf break for every golfer. So if you look at our profile audience, it is every golfer who's on that journey in terms of not necessarily competence, because you don't need to be a great golfer to go on a golf holiday. You don't.
Okay.
You go on many golf holidays, Michael. That was a low blow.
Thank you.
But the golf is great in the sense that all standards can go and enjoy a golf travel experience. So in terms of customers, we have domestic travelers. We have your everyday golfer who's a member of a golf club who might want to go away with their partner, with their friends. So a private travel through their own pocket, so to speak, something that they'll pay for themselves and go away maybe 2-3 times a year. And when they come to us, we use that type of customer as very much a case of they've gone online through our website at golfbreaks.com, and they filled in an inquiry form saying, and it's typically off the back of going to a specific landing page for a venue. So we'll know which venue that they're interested in, and they will have given us their dates, the specifics around the itinerary that they're trying to achieve, their budget, and various other factors that they want us to know in order for us to give them the best advice on what we can offer. And it's a very relaxed and informal discussion with one of a number of highly experienced sales agents that we have at the business, who will talk through either the venue that customer has come to us with, or after having that opening discussion, just checklisting all of those preferences that they had, say, well, actually, that venue may not be the right venue for you, or unfortunately, that venue's not available on the dates that you need to go to, but we can offer this. Every single one of our sales agents is highly experienced. They get the chance, obviously, to go out and try out all of these venues, which is a great perk of the job. But the main reason for that is they can talk to a customer like yourself, Michael, and say, I know you were looking at, for argument's sake, the Belfry. Unfortunately, the Belfry's not available on these dates, but here's 4 or 5 other options that you could look at that would fit your criteria, and these are the reasons why. Let me talk you through it. And golf's fun. It's a leisure sport, so we're not trying to sell you life assurance or trying to get you to invest a huge sum of money into a hedge fund or whatever it might be. It's a fun conversation, and it's a relaxed conversation. So that's our approach from the sales agents, and it's always done with the best interests of the customer.
How many team members are at Golfbreaks?
On the sales side?
Across the business.
So there's 180 employees worldwide, the majority of which are in the UK office. The UK is still our largest market in terms of UK golfers traveling within the UK. Very close behind the heels now is UK golfers traveling into European destinations as well. Splitting that down, so you have 40 to 50 across 3 sales departments, sales agents who all have a specialist area in terms of if you want to go to a UK destination, we will have a sales floor who are dedicated to those venues and have a very detailed knowledge of all of the destinations that we provide through to Europe, and then we have mid-haul and long-haul destinations as well, where the same rule applies in terms of experience. And that's something from a business learning and an evolution point of view where that we've reached. I think when you start any business off, often it's a much smaller team, and they're doing everything and anything, right from selling a golf holiday through to running down and filling the fridge and cleaning the office afterwards. Well, obviously, thankfully, encouragingly, we've moved on from that point where, we have a very large and probably uncommon really for what is essentially an e-commerce. It's an online business, and quite a large human resource with regards to a sales team, and they do a fantastic job of building relationship with customers and buying them into the service that Golfbreaks offer, and rightly so, because it's a great service. And then on the flip side, we have our dedicated service team. So once you've made a booking, you go into the hands of our service team, who are there to manage any other requirements you might have right the way up to the time of booking. So tea time changes, accommodation requests, moving dates, adding people on, taking people off. All of these things are obviously going to come up. And
do you do any requests? So let's say a golfer says, yeah, I'd really like to go around Palm Beach or the Belfry, but also like to take in a trip on a helicopter. Do you get involved in trying to source pretty much everything? You want to be the one-stop shop for their trip, and you can do that? Or are there some things that you say, you know what, that's a little bit too complicated, it's outside of our area?
Yeah, I mean, predominantly, again, as a business that deals in high volume, low margin, so if you're sending 250,000 golfers away around the world playing golf,
that's a lot of golfers.
It is a lot of golfers. It's a great figure to reach, but you do that by understanding what you can scale, what you are good at, and then also turning around and saying to customers at the right time, actually, yes, we can do this for you. If it's bespoke in its nature, as you've mentioned, then we have a team who can do that. But there's also a time to say, actually, that is not something that is best placed with Golfbreaks. However, we have these contacts that we can put you into. And in my 17 years at the business, it's very rare that we can't do something for a customer in a golf travel perspective. And typically, if it is, we can do 70% of what they're looking for, and then we will lead them into a good contact in the industry that can provide the rest.
I'm guessing as a model, and this is a guess, but people out there will be probably thinking what I'm thinking. So the model for the company is you're going to the golf venues and you're almost guaranteeing footfall, if you like, in numbers going to those. Are those then coming back to you and saying, thank you very much, here's a discounted rate because you brought us X amount of people this year? Is that how it works?
Yeah, well, I mean, without going into the nuts and bolts of the commercial arrangements, I think most people would understand that.
Yeah, sure.
Again, as I mentioned that a little bit earlier, that Golfbreaks is all about providing choice for the golfer. We're a marketing platform essentially.
Yes.
For 2,000 destinations around the world, and we have a very strong, very experienced, and a very creative team who bring an audience to Golfbreaks, maintain an audience at Golfbreaks, and look at ways in which we can bring new eyes in on a daily basis. Now, if you're a standalone venue or even a cluster of resorts around the world, of course you have that yourself with your own website, but it's not your central focus. I mean, one of the plus points for Golfbreaks is we don't own the assets.
Okay.
So
sure. Yep.
If you're a well-known international golf resort brand around the world, well, actually, one of your primary focuses is making sure that offering that you have is what you say it's going to be when people there. So you don't necessarily have as much focus on marketing your venue, or as much reach, or as much experience or insight into how you gain that reach. So Golfbreaks have proved in two ways, really, in terms of the relationship and the honesty and the integrity that we have with some of our longest standing suppliers and venues around the world, have proved that we have the ability to not only drive volume, but also be able to drive volume in certain areas where those venues would really need it. So I think what I mean by that is most hotels can fill their summer weekends or high season months. With Golfbreaks, through our experience, have been able to encourage and drive volume to some of the lower season months, and not reduce the experience that customer's having. Yes, you go away to a UK resort in November, we all know what, some of the risks that you take. But actually, in terms of the packages that are put in front of people, the value for money that's offered there, we create a situation where we make golfers think, well, actually, I can go away in the summer and I can pay X amount and have this experience, but I can also take the benefits of going away in the winter as well. Typically a little bit quieter. Often you get some very nice days in the sure. UK, and some courses play, some of the fantastic links courses that we have all the way around the British Isles are playable in the same condition all year round because of the links land that they're based on. So we do a very good job of that, of changing the behaviour of a large audience of golfers, which is very valuable to resorts and our partners who, like I said, not saying that they couldn't do that themselves. It's just harder for them because they don't have the focus on. They have to focus on their product being the best it can be for the golfers who attend.
As an exercise for the company, have you looked into trends? And guessing, of course, that's what businesses do. In terms of the number of golfers that are starting and wanting to go abroad or into the UK and trips. Yeah. I certainly have been approached by 4 different sets of guys who've said, we're thinking about going on this trip. And that's unheard of, really. I remember one last year. I feel like it's booming almost. Is that what you're feeling?
Yeah. So again, I think if we could talk about the pandemic, and I imagine a lot of people just want to not talk about the pandemic, but actually from a travel point of view, or a golf travel point of view specifically, the pandemic was a terrible thing for travel. It's undeniably every business really struggled, and because there was no endpoint, there was no we didn't know. It was very hard to sometimes see the wood from the trees. But from a golf perspective, everyone, the first activity that anybody could do, never mind just golfers, was actually get out on a golf course because of the size of a golf course and the restrictions that were placed on people from distancing and all the rest of it. Well, golf was actually one of those sports that made sense to say, actually, you can go out onto a golf course. So in terms of participation, which is what you're referring to there's a lot of research now as we roll through 15, 18 months past the pandemic, just the extent of which more people in the UK are taking up golf. They started because it was the only thing they could do, picking up a golf club, going to a driving range. Yeah. And then they realised, actually, I quite enjoy this. Quite enjoy this. So a lot of sports research groups have given us the data to show that there's been 40-50% uplift in the number of people who have picked up a golf club in some way, shape or form. So what I mean by that is, a golfer as an individual has their own journey through golf. Most of us started playing golf at a pitch and putt or a crazy golf, and that was the same with pandemic golfer newbies. That they were doing that, and then they realised they quite enjoyed it and moved on to a driving range, and then moved on to maybe their local municipal golf course or easy access golf course, and then found themselves at that they wanted to invest in a private club. So where does golf travel fit in there? Well, again, it's golf. One of the great things about golf, certainly in my lifetime, from my generation, is when I started playing golf, there was a lot of limitations. Accessibility was an issue at certain clubs, and there was a lot of sort of general cultures within golf clubs that maybe weren't the most welcoming and appealing, and unfortunately it still does hang around in some areas, but I'm very pleased to say that it is the minority now. So during the pandemic period, these barriers had been removed. It was much easier for golfers who are at that stage to join golf clubs or being vested in some kind of golf experience. And then that also then filters through to golf travel. So 20, 30 years ago, the idea of booking a golf holiday, for example, to Spain was a bit of a headache. It was like, well, how do I start? Where do I, where do I ring a hotel? Do they speak English? Sure. Do they allow golfers on golf courses? What do I need? How do I do it? How much does it cost? Of course, now you've got companies like Golfbreaks, there's a number of other providers as well. We're of course the best, but there are other tour operators out there who offer these experiences. So it's very easy for golfers to make that leap from recreational golf to investing their time, money into golf travel experiences. So in terms of bounce, if we're going to go into Golfbreaks as a business, we've had a phenomenal bounce back in 2022, and the numbers on 2023 are fantastic. You know, it's record week after record month after.
Really?
Yeah, it's great, and it's a wonderful thing to be part of, and you know, couldn't have been done without every single person within Golfbreaks doing what they do best to get us back to where we were before the pandemic. But you know, undoubtedly, there are more people out there wanting to have a golf travel experience, which is a fantastic thing for them.
And how close did the business come to a pretty grave place in the pandemic? Was it we know some knowns, there are some unknowns, but did it sort of come to nearly an end?
No, it didn't. I think it was. I think like a lot of businesses, it was week by week, month by month, constantly having a look at what's happening, the bigger picture with the pandemic, and almost having to diversify and look at what we can do and what we should be focusing on. Because although at the time, you know, I remember sort of sitting, as well, a lot of families do, you'd sit down at the same time every day and just look at all of these horrendous numbers of how many people have contracted COVID, unfortunately, how many people, you know, that we were losing. You know, it was awful. And the problem was, and most times when there's an issue, you know, when there's an end or there's something that you can hold on to and say, right, if we can just get to here, it'll be okay. Well, there wasn't. And I think I'm probably going to detail a bit of what the culture is like at Golfbreaks, because everybody was impacted. All friendship groups, all family groups were impacted, and has a story to tell about, unfortunately, people who lost jobs, lost businesses. And Golfbreaks, yes, I would not be telling the truth if I said it was an extremely difficult time, and there was natural concern. But the way in which the owners of the business here, so the four directors, Andrew Stanley, Steve Hedensworth, Daniel Grave, and Guy Prado, managed the whole situation, not only for themselves. You know, they have built this business up from the ground to be a magnificent golf travel, a leader in the industry, and you know, it would have been very hard for them to see what was happening over 2 years, but you would never have known it in terms of the comforting messages that they sent across to what was a large employee base. They were phenomenal. They were always very, very positive. We were always being tasked to use our skill and experience to look at ways in which the company could still offer a service and do what's right for the number one entity in any business, which is the customer. I mean, Golfbreaks, there was always going to be an end. We just didn't know when it was, but Golfbreaks were very focused on doing what was right with our customers. And you don't, you know, it's very easy for me to say that, but the proof is in the pudding. If you look at, if anyone goes online now and looks at reviews, Trustpilot or Review, on the way in which Golfbreaks as a business handled what was a very difficult time for everybody, you know, you'd be hard pressed to find some negative feedback there. And I think, of course, that was always our focus, and we did hope that when we did get through to the other side, customers would come back and say, you know, you were great with us then, so you know, we're really pleased to start going away on travel, and they certainly have. They have an abundance, and that's great. You know, we would never take that as a given, and we'd never take customer loyalty as for granted. But that approach, because it's often very hard to see the woods for the trees when you're dealing with a crisis, is something that was wired into the Golfbreaks employee base from the owners, and you still see that today. I mean, they are a very inspirational group of gentlemen. They are, and everything that Golfbreaks does and all of the success that we have is born out of the ethos and the principles that they put forward every day.
So what's your role at Golfbreaks?
So I'm head of commercial for the business, and my remit is essentially as an opportunity finder, and look at ways in which we can take advantage of new revenue streams for the business. Our traditional business is with golfers getting in touch with the contact center and booking in golf travel experiences. So I'm very much tasked to making sure I can grow that audience who are then fed into the main part of the business, and I do that in a number of ways by setting up partnerships with lots of different entities. Really, I think if I was to list the different types of partnerships that I work a lot with, you've got golf club partnerships. Obviously, they're a fantastic audience. A group of members at a golf club are naturally going to have an affinity towards golf travel. And what does a partnership look like between Golfbreaks and a golf club? Well, we often go in with a benefits package in terms of booking golf travel for those members, but we also look to support the golf club. And I think this is how we do our partnerships slightly differently to other businesses out there. We do try and invest into the interests and the objectives of the club themselves and help them support that. So we very often sponsor a lot of club events, or we bring events and we bring corporate events to those clubs, which can be a significant amount of revenue to those golf clubs. I think a great example of that, Golfbreaks have a number of ambassadors, one of which is former Ryder Cup player David Howell, one of England's most celebrated golfers. So Gerrard's Cross Golf Club are a partner of ours, and I'm very much looking forward to hosting a quiz evening with 120 members from Gerrard's Cross. David will come in, he'll be part of the quiz, but he'll also be there for a Q&A with the members. The members can ask him anything they want about his career, about all things golf. There's a lot of things going on in the golf
leading
arena,
the Masters.
as leading the Masters, his favourite story.
Fantastic story.
So David's fantastic at that. But what does that do for the golf club? Well, it actually adds value to the membership.
Huge
the membership.
Yeah.
Not a lot of clubs can necessarily bring those sort of experiences to the members. Well, Golfbreaks want to help our club partnerships, and we have a number of really good clubs and great clubs with great membership, and my job is to then make sure that we put ourselves front and center as a business to help their members when it comes to golf travel, and we've had a lot of success there. Corporate side, we have a number of very large blue chip companies, global companies, in which we offer benefits to their employees. And again, very similar. We will help. A lot of them are employee well-being schemes or community schemes within the employee base, where Golfbreaks can take the lead in the initiative to get an audience of golfers together of all levels. I love this part of the job because often, certainly in the beginning, if you go to golf clubs, they're very seasoned golfers. They've got a lot of golf experience and have been everywhere on their travels. Well, when you deal with groups of employees, for example, in December we had a number of events, and one was with Meta, which obviously is a huge global business, and we had around 80 Meta employees come down, which we hosted for the evening and ran some competitions with prizes. What was good about that for the employees? Well, they were introduced in a very relaxed and informal way. It was at Pitch in the city, which is a fantastic golf simulator centre with bar. It's a brilliant place to either play your golf, certainly in the winter, or be introduced to the game. And that setting allowed Golfbreaks to not only introduce our services, but actually help people along their journey with golf. And I love that, because I turn around, there's people who I was doing those events 4 or 5 years ago, and they were just picking up a club, and now I see them and they're knocking it 300 yards down the middle. Fantastic. And now members of clubs, and if Golfbreaks have played a small part of that, it's a fantastic
and
thing.
they'll not forget that either.
Yeah, and then sort of finishing off on the partnership side, charities is a big part. Golfbreaks do want to give back where we can, or use our position in terms of the size of our business within our industry to help towards charitable causes. So Deborah, which is a wonderful charity, they have a very successful golf event itinerary which we support. Woking Hospice is another one, which is not too far away from our head office. They do something similar to Deborah, but we every time one of their members or supporters books with Golfbreaks, we'll offer them a discount, but we'll also make a contribution of their booking to their charity, which is something we're capable of doing quite easily with regards to the systems that we book on, but it's something that we want to do. And then from a revenue generation perspective, again, it's looking at ways in which we can work with suppliers and have our suppliers invest in some of the initiatives away from our primary focus, which is driving golfers to their resorts. So how do we do that? We will run events in the city, or very often for very well-known golf resorts around the world who get the chance to meet golfers, to talk about what's new with them, where they're going with their golf resorts, where they're going with their destinations. And allows us and allows Golfbreaks obviously to push forward and really introduce new areas around the world that golfers and our audience are going to book travel experiences through us as a business. So it's a fun job. I mean, every week is different. On a Monday, I might be in our office working with our developers on how our online booking system works for our events, crunching numbers and coming home with a headache. The next day, I'll be on a golf course, sponsoring the ladies' event at one of our partners club and playing golf and giving out prizes. The next day, I'll be hosting an event in the city at a simulator center and
sounds like a dream job.
Introducing new golfers to the game, and then the next day I'll be frantically trying to catch up with 500 emails. So yeah, very varied. I love it. I think it's a job that I've kind of molded myself through in terms of what the company and again the owners that I've talked about earlier have looked at me as an individual and saying, what's Nik good at? And I do feel as if I'm good at building relationships and understanding how and where to start a relationship around golf with each and every customer or contact that I come across. So yeah, there's a reason why I've been with the company for 17 years. I love the game. I love the people who I work with, and I love the autonomy that they give to me and the trust that they give in me to help make a contribution to the business.
Brilliant. So right now we're through the pandemic. Life is rosy again. What's the future hold for Golfbreaks?
Yeah, so this year being 25th anniversary, we're very proud to reach 25 years, and we've got a lot of exciting things happening, not only for our customers but our social followers and our employees to celebrate the fact that we've reached 25 years. So we are running a lot of events in association with the 25th anniversary. We'll be thanking a lot of our very, very loyal customers. A lot of golf days, a lot of evening events. We'll be running a lot of giveaways with a number of our partner venues. So if you are heavy into social, certainly do follow Golfbreaks on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We've also got some new platforms launching. TikTok, I don't know a lot about it. I'm the generation before TikTok. I think you can actually see my golf swing on there, which nobody wants to see. But a lot of our communication and opportunity to give back to our customers for our 25th anniversary will come in the way of giveaways and great prizes that can be won. We've got some new destinations. We've got some new experiences that customers can look forward to. We have a very popular and burgeoning Golfbreaks amateur events schedule across the UK and Europe. We've got some really top draw golf courses that we're visiting here this year. So Walthamstow, Walton Heath, Woodall, Spa, all top 100 UK courses where we'll be running very inclusive amateur pairs, Stableford pairs events. So golfers who enjoy having a very relaxed hosted day out, but can get the chance to compete for some great prizes. Actually, the top prize at every event is a trip to Monterey Golf Resort, which is one of the top resorts in Europe, if not the world. Certainly a fantastic golf course, and it's great to be able to offer something different other than just a golf travel holiday, which is fantastic in its own right. But a lot of golfers now are looking for something more, and we've just launched one of our new destinations is Vietnam. So a lot of people who book a lot of trips with Golfbreaks and go to lots of different places are always saying, "Where's next? Can you set up golf trips in Australia and New Zealand?" And we'd love to do everywhere. Sure. But there's obviously a lot of administration and relationships that need to be built to make sure that we offer is right.
You just want to go and test the golf courses.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, if you want to send me out to Australia and New Zealand for a couple in November and December, that would be ideal. I don't think my wife would be too pleased with that, to be fair. So somewhere like Vietnam, wonderful hotels, fantastic golf courses, not necessarily the first destination that would spring to mind for a golfer, but I tell you what, if someone goes there and the people who have been there so far, the feedback is absolutely superb. Wow. And it's affordable, very competitive compared to maybe some of the go-to destinations in the past. And then there's our tournament offering. Over the last 3 to 5 years, again, pandemic aside, we've seen a significant growth in and people wanting to go along with the Golfbreaks team to tournaments like the Masters, the Open, the Ryder Cup, Solheim Cup, a lot of the events that take place out in Abu Dhabi and Dubai. And something that I haven't mentioned is Golfbreaks have a partnership with the PGA Tour. So something that we're doing a lot more is introducing and allowing our large audience. We've got a database of over 250,000 golfers in the UK who want to find out what it's all about going to a US PGA Tour event. Some of the more popular ones like the Players, the Waste Management. It's great to watch the golfers, see what they, see the best in the world, do what you love as a fantastic experience. But actually, you can make a golf spectating and golf travel trip all in one work, and it's very easy to do. And again, it's a bit of an education piece at first, because a lot of people think, I'd love to do that, but how, where,
yeah, sure.
How much is it going to cost? Well, you go to the Golfbreaks website and we can tell you all about it, and we can guarantee we'll give you the best price. And we've got a big team of product managers and commercial managers out there looking at new experiences and talking to our customers constantly about what they want us to put together. And one of the big parts of my role is bringing that to our customers.
Nik Hayes, Golfbreaks. Sounds like you've got a fascinating future. Very exciting. Thanks for coming in today and sharing your story, and thank you again. Until next time.